They thought he was the favorite. Little did they know. Welcome back to Kim Tells Tales, where every tale has a lesson. So come closer, little one. Let me tell you a story. In a quiet burrow deep in the wild, Mama Bunny gave birth to a litter of three soft, tiny bunnies. They were warm, cuddly, and full of life. But as they grew, one bunny stood out from the rest. His name was Fluffy. Fluffy's fur was brighter, softer, almost glowing in the sunlight. Whenever he went out with his brother and sister, the other animals would stop to admire him. They would gently touch his fur and say, "Look at you, little bunny. You are so beautiful." At first, the other bunnies didn't mind, but slowly their smiles began to fade. They no longer enjoyed walking around with their brother. "Why does everyone notice him and not us?" one whispered. "Are we not good enough?" the other said quietly. Fluffy was kind and loving and never once thought he was better than them. But his siblings began to feel invisible, ugly, unwanted. One afternoon, while Fluffy was fast asleep, the other bunnies crept closer. They gently rolled him into thick, sticky mud, then stood back and giggled. "Now let's see who calls you beautiful." When Fluffy woke up, he looked confused. Who, who did this to me?" he asked softly. They only laughed. "Why would you do this to me?" he asked, his voice filled with sadness. Mama and Papa Bunny were very disappointed. They gently scolded the two bunnies for their bad behavior. Are you enjoying the story? Then please remember to like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss out. But the jealousy didn't stop. Another day, the bunnies covered Fluffy's fur with dry leaves, twigs, and thorns, tangling it badly. This time, Fluffy was hurt and very sad. Mama Bunny stepped in firmly. "How could you do this to your brother? This is not love. This is unkind." The other bunnies lowered their heads in shame, but deep inside, they felt something even heavier than guilt. They felt unwanted. That night, they whispered to each other, "Mama and Papa love him more. They don't love us. We don't belong here." So quietly, they crept out of the burrow and ran away into the dark. The world outside was not safe. It looked strange and sounded frightening. The two bunnies jumped and huddled together as an owl hooted in the distance. Suddenly, snap! They were caught in a hunter's trap. They struggled. They cried. They tried and tried to break free, but they couldn't. Exhausted, they finally gave up and began to cry. "Mama, Mama, help us." Back at the burrow, Mama and Papa Bunny noticed something was wrong. "Why is it so quiet?" "Fluffy, where are your brother and sister?" Papa asked. Mama went to check and returned in shock. "The bunnies are gone." They searched everywhere. When they tried to stop Fluffy from coming along, he said, "I'm coming too. They're my family." After a long search, they finally found them, trapped and terrified. Mama and Papa quickly worked to free them. Once they were safe, the family huddled close together. Then the two little bunnies looked up and froze. Fluffy was there too. Tears filled their eyes. You you came too," Fluffy nodded. "We thought you didn't love us because we're not as beautiful as him," they cried, looking at their parents. Mama Bunny held all three of them close. "We love all of you the same," Papa added gently. "Being beautiful on the outside does not make someone more special." The bunnies looked at Fluffy, even after everything he had come to help them. "We're sorry, Fluffy," they said softly. Fluffy smiled. "You're my family. I love you." The bunnies hugged each other tightly, and from that day on, they understood something important. True beauty comes from love, kindness, and the way we treat others. And that is how the bunnies learned what it truly means to love. The end. Remember, this story is also available in our next video in Sesotho.